Hey, this is Daniel Hadaway, aka the Drum Coach. Welcome into another episode of Drummer Daily. I'm so happy you could join me. Hey, so today I want to talk to you about something. I want to give you a little tough love in your drumming. And this is something that you can probably apply to not just drumming. Can you apply this to any aspect of your life? Relationships. You can apply this to people you know, your career, even if it's not drumming. Anything. But I want to ask you a question, and it's a simple question. I want to ask you this. If you want something, if you have a specific goal in mind, or even a nebulous, not specific goal in mind, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to accomplish that goal? I meet a lot of drummers. I've talked to a lot of drummers who really want something. They want to get more paid gigs, or they want to get some remote recording sessions, or they want just to find a band of people who they align with musically and can have some fun playing some music that they like. Whatever that goal is, what are you doing about it? Because a lot of drummers that I've talked to have some kind of idea like that. They have something they want, but they're not really doing anything to get it. Not even something small. Have you reached out to people that you do know and say, hey, I'm looking for a bass player or a guitar player who really likes playing this kind of music, just like me, and might want to just get together for fun. Are you working on doing what you need to do to make that happen? Or if you want to get more recording sessions or get your first remote recording session, have someone pay you to record drums, from your own house or wherever you're at, what are you doing to make that happen? It's funny. I've talked to a few drummers who really want to make like that. This is a good example, the remote recording thing happen. But if someone were to message them tomorrow, or to DM them tomorrow, or email them, or whatever, if someone were to reach out to them tomorrow or now and say, hey, I've got something for you, can you do it? They would have to scramble, if at all, be able to accommodate what they're being asked to do. They're not ready for it. So there are some aspects, there are some things that I'm definitely a believer of. You don't need to have it all before you offer it, and then you can do it. My classic example is, I felt pretty good back in the day. There was a time many years ago when instead of the cajon being the instrument of choice for acoustic drumming and in those situations, it was playing the djembe. And I remember basically telling someone, this was like when I was in high school, telling a guy at my church that I could play the djembe because they already had too many drummers and they weren't going to get any more drummers. But I thought my way in might be the djembe because no one played that yet. So I told him I played it, and he's like, oh yeah, sounds great. Bring it next week and we'll get you in. And I didn't even have one. So in a week's time, my parents bought me one, thankfully. That was really nice of them. And I learned enough to fake it and show up by the next week and play it. And that was my way in. And eventually they asked me to play drums because I could show them what I could do, and they kind of could understand what kind of drummer I was based on how I played the djembe. So there are situations where you don't need to be 100% ready. That's a good example. I wouldn't suggest that if you've never had a remote recording session before, that you go buy thousands of dollars worth of microphones and all the stuff that goes with it in hopes that someone will pay you someday. But I would suggest something like figuring out how to get the best sound you absolutely can from what you have right now, and then offering to record. And if something comes along, getting yourself as ready as possible ahead of time is good. But then if something comes along, then let's say someone's going to pay you $100 to record a drum track or whatever. Take that $100 and hopefully you've got 100 to spare, knowing that you'll get paid for it in the end if you don't get paid up front. We'll talk about this in another episode about how to structure remote recording sessions so that you get paid and everyone can trust that you're not going to take the money and run, all that stuff. And also so you don't get scammed. But let's say you're going to get paid $100 and you know at the end of it you're going to get paid $100. Well, you could go ahead and set aside $100, maybe go buy a new SM57 microphone, Shure SM57 microphone that will help you. You could pretty much record a whole kit with a 57. Even if you have to do it one drum at a time, you can get a pretty darn good. Maybe I'll make a video of that. That'd be kind of fun. So I've set up a 57 and try to piece together a drum track one at a time. That'd be kind of cool. I might try that. Anyway, you could do that because no one's going to care about how you accomplish the end result. As long as you can provide something at the end that's good, you can do that. So you might not buy that piece of gear until someone, the money's coming. So there's situations where that's helpful. But if you have never tried recording yourself before, what's stopping you from doing that right now? That's the kind of thing, and this is just an example. There's many and all different aspects of drumming and getting paid or professional or just playing around with friends or other musicians. There's all kinds of things you can do right now to make that happen and also to prepare for it. And you're being unfair to yourself. You're being unfair to, the musical community. You're being unfair to others around you, maybe that you encounter, if you are sitting and waiting for the opportunity, but you know full well in the back of your mind that if that opportunity came to you right now, you wouldn't be able to handle it. So what are you doing right now to make that happen, make that goal happen? And if your answer is, I don't know, or nothing really, I want to encourage you right now to do something and do something every day. I have a lot of goals personally for this show, this podcast. I have goals for the part of my drumming where I get paid to do remote sessions, which there's a certain percentage of my income I'd like to make from that this year. And there's a certain percentage of my income that I'd like to make from teaching and other things that I do. There's a certain percentage of my income that I'd like to make from my day job. And a mixture of all of that is my kind of my lifestyle that I want to live. It kind of all accomplishes the overarching vision that I have for my life and what I want. And each of those goals that I have, I each day ask myself, what am I doing? What have I done to make that happen? And I don't have to necessarily get down that it hasn't happened yet, that I haven't accomplished each goal yet, especially because right now as I record this, it's very early in the year. But I do want to see that I'm doing something to make that happen. And I like to provide resources to other drummers like you to give you something to do every day to make your goals happen if you don't know what to do. And there's a couple of things I do. I do intensives. Since we're in the middle of a pandemic, I do them online, which, by the way, if you're interested in that, shoot me an email, daniel@danielhadaway.com, to find out more about that. Do intensives. I do, coaching calls. I do online courses, all kinds of things like that to help people who need specific action items to take to make their goals happen, whether it's drumming career or other things. But even if you don't look to me to give you those things, you need to set those for yourself. So what are you doing to make that drumming goal happen? Ask yourself that. If you don't know an answer to that, just write a few things down. Not a big deal. Doesn't have to be some crazy undertaking. You don't have to announce to the world that you're going to be the next greatest drummer in the whole world or the most successful drummer in the whole world or whatever that is. But you should have a goal. And even if you don't want to be a professional drummer, maybe it's just your playing, the development that you'd like to do. You'd like to feel confident in your ability to play a certain style of music or whatever it is. There's always something you should be working towards. Personally, for me, I definitely find that in my drumming, if I'm regularly practicing and attempting to maintain my ability, I won't be able to help but to get better, actually. You don't stagnate on the drums if you're playing. In fact, I don't think that you can stagnate on the drums. I think you're either getting much, much better or you're slowly getting worse. And if I go a long time without playing, I definitely feel like I've gotten worse. And you got to climb back out of that hole. So set some goals for yourself. and then just say, hey, what am I doing today to work towards that? And big or small, pick something out and do it. And you can at least know that you're on your way, and that if the opportunity presents itself down the road, or it presents itself tomorrow, that you will have done something to be ready for it. You could actually accommodate and take advantage of that opportunity when it comes up, instead of being left scrambling, or, God forbid you get an opportunity, but you weren't ready for it and you don't get a chance to take advantage of it. That'd be a huge bummer. So don't put yourself in that position. Prepare now. All right. Thanks for joining me today on Drummer Daily. We'll talk again really soon. Bye for now.